Let's try something first. I just want to get you all ready for some math. I want you to stand up where you are, and I want you to run in place for about 30 seconds as fast as you can. Ready? On your mark, get set, go. 1. Fast as you can. Come on, I want to see you moving. Do those arms. Let's go. Let's go. Fast as you can. Do it. Do it. Run it. Oh, Jaden Prado, he's fast. Let's go. All right, go, go. Come on, Michaela Overton. Not just swing your arms, but actually stand up and move your feet. Come on, you can do it. I see Zuleika moving her feet. Let's go. Come on. Max is doing it. All right, Abel's up there a little bit. Aaron Grimm, I see you. Thank you very much. Woo! Okay, now I want you to stop. Before you sit down, I want you to hold your breath. And I want you to sit on the very edge of your chair, the very edge of your chair. Sit up as straight as you can. Hold your breath. You got your breath? I want today's lessons to leave you breathless and on the edge of your seats. Now you may exhale. Whew. Here we go. Today, yes, I'm actually going to start math lessons. And yes, I am going to attempt a screen share with okay, tell me if I'm wrong, but I want to do my video from my camera. So here's my camera. And how do I make it big? Is it speaker view? Like everyone has to do speaker view. That way when I'm speaking, my slides will show, or my
I think if you take share, it'll force you and take it over.
Do a screen share?
Yeah.
And it'll force it?
I'm pretty sure.
Screen share. See, it is the first time I've tried this with people on it. No? See, that's where, okay, let me try minimize all this, and let me try.
Because on your thumbnail, I can't see the hover cam.
You don't see the hover cam?
I can see it as like your picture right now, your face.
Right, okay, maybe. Okay, let me, I'm trying many things. And I should have tried this before just to see how to get it going.
On the right-hand corner of your Zoom screen, there should be a button that says Gallery View or Speaker View. Right hand on the top, you need to make sure you're on Speaker View so you can see Miss Bragg's notes.
Aha, yeah, that's what I was thinking. On each individual student, if each individual student clicks on Speaker View,
yes,
they should be able to see my screen here really big. So please click on Speaker View. Since I'm speaking, you should be able to see my notes here about decimal operations. We're just going to jump right into some lessons today. We're going to add and subtract decimals. Please, students, put your video on Speaker View so that you can see my screen. All right, that's the best way I know how to share my notes, and I'm just going to teach from pencil and paper today. Ian, you have a hand raised, I think. Question?
If you put your mouse cursor in somebody's video and you click the thumbtack, it'll put their video on full screen.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. So today's lesson for math, I'm jumping in. We are going to do some decimal operations, and we are going to add and subtract decimals today. And the most important thing you need to know about adding and subtracting decimals is to always, always line up the decimals. If you line up the decimals, then you line up the place values. And that is the most important thing about adding and subtracting decimals. You will need your whiteboards and a marker today, so if you would grab those whiteboards and markers, make sure you have them handy. Make sure you have those whiteboards and markers handy. Okay. And let's continue. Line up the decimals. Therefore, if I have an addition problem such as 50.9 plus 0.261, you are going to have to line up the decimals, and you should always rewrite the problem vertically so that you can line up the decimals. I have 50.9 and I want to add 0.261. Now, when you line up these decimals, here's what I mean by line up the decimals. Your problem and your answer are all going to have a decimal alignment here. You have to make sure they're all right in a nice little column there. And it's okay if you don't have numbers above or below all your other digits. Now in 6th grade, you have to learn to add to the thousandths place value. So we're going to go out tenths, hundredths, thousandths. We're going to go out to the thousandths. And you can put zeros after a decimal above or below a place value that's missing another digit. That way you have equal digits on top, equal digits on bottom, and then you can add and subtract just like you would with whole numbers. Okay, if we were to add these two decimals together, 0 plus 1, 0 plus 6, 9 plus 2 is 11, and then you bring down the 1, and of course you have a 5 here. 51 and 161 thousandths. Now, sometimes when you add or subtract decimals, they simply give you a whole number. So this is the second tip of the day. First tip of the day, when you add and subtract decimals, line up the decimals. Most important. Second tip of the day, most important. If you have a whole number and you're trying to add or subtract a decimal, make the whole number a decimal. And the way to make a whole number a decimal is simply this. Put a decimal behind it. So if I have the number 368, it's like saying 368.000. Now I'm going to show you another example of why you can put a decimal behind a whole number and it won't change the whole number. If I said I have this much money, you would say, oh, Miss Bragg has $10. Okay, now I'm going to write down a different way. If Miss Bragg has this much money, I just put a decimal behind the 10, but I still have $10. Or if I said I have this much money, I put the 10 with a decimal and some zeros behind it, I still have $10. These all equal the same amount, so you can always put the decimal in. It might be invisible, you just have to make it visible. All right, and you can put the zeros behind the decimal, and that does not change the number. Okay, so adding and subtracting. If we did one addition problem, I'm going to give you an addition problem that I want you to solve on your whiteboard. Okay, the problem I want you to solve is, I'm going to write it down. You're going to write it on your whiteboard. Okay, we are going to do, lost all my examples. Oh, here they are. 2.57, that's 2 and 57 hundredths. Let's see if I can get closer here. 2 and 57 hundredths plus 7 and 706 thousandths. 2 and 57 hundredths plus 7 and 706 thousandths. Okay, remember the 2 tips of the day. Always line up your decimals, rewrite the problem going up and down. Okay, And then add zeros if you need to add zeros behind the decimal to have the same number of digits on the top and bottom. Okay. There. There's your problem. Go ahead and solve this one on your whiteboard. And if you're having a hard time, this is one of those moments in math where if you attend to precision, you can use lined paper to rewrite this problem. If you want to line up your place values even better, you can turn paper sideways, 2.57, and then put your decimal on the line before you add, so that you're sure that your place values are lined up and your decimals are lined up. All right, hopefully that'll help you. Attend to precision. Make sure you line up those decimals and place values. You have an answer? I see a lot of people nodding their head, looking at me like you're ready to go. Okay, on the count of 3, I want you to show me your answer on your whiteboards. Ready? 1, 2, 3, show me. Oh yeah. Oh, I see a little mistake. Let's see. That's it. Oh yes. Oh wow. Oh, this is fantastic. I see one mistake. Here's the 2 mistakes. Oh, for the most part, we're having a really good time about this. If you add these 2 together, okay, 2.57 and 7.706, you put that 0, and with my 5th graders, I would say it's an imaginary 0, but you can make it real by writing it in. And then when you add them up, you do indeed have 10.276. So bravo to those of you who got it correct. If you got it wrong, the most important thing you can do is figure out why. Why'd you miss it? What happened? Did you not line up the place values? Did you just add wrong? Did you accidentally put in the wrong number? So if you did any of those things, those are things you need to check for attending to precision to make sure that you are actually very precise in your answers for math. That will help you so much, attending to that precision. Oh, yeah. Now, that was just one example for addition. I'm going to go ahead and move on to subtraction as well. Here's the subtraction problem. Okay, the subtraction and addition have the exact same rule. You line up the decimals. So if I take this example that I have, 20.7 minus 0.258, and that reads 20 and 7/10 minus 258 thousandths. First thing you want to do is line up the decimals. Rewrite the problem up and down vertically and line up the decimals. I just put the decimals in right away so that I can see that all the rest of the digits are going to fall into place. I have a 0 in front of the decimal and 258 behind the decimal. Now subtraction gets a little more tricky, especially when you have to put in those zeros. See, I don't have a digit above the 5, so I have to write in a 0. And I don't have a digit above the 8 either, so I have to write in another 0. And as you recall, hopefully you recall, and if not, this is a great review and reminder of subtraction. If you cannot subtract from a 0, you have to go to the place value next to it. So I have a 0 here, but I can't take 0 and subtract 8. Can't do it. Go to the place value next door. I have another 0. And again, you can't borrow or regroup from zeros, so I'm going to continue going until I can regroup from a place value. I'm going to borrow or regroup from the 7. 7, I'm only borrowing a 10 from the 7, so 7 becomes 6. I'm borrowing 1 digit here from the 7. 7 becomes 6. This one becomes a 10 because I regrouped from the 7. And since I still have to go all the way over, I'm going to regroup twice. I'm going to do it twice in a row. I'm going to regroup from that 10, make it a 9, and finally, I have a 10 at the end. Woo! That was a lot of work. A lot of regrouping from the get-go. All right, but we can go ahead and subtract now. This 10 minus 8 is 2. 9 minus 5 is 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. I have zeros here, and 2 minus nothing is 2. Final answer, 20.442 thousandths. 20 and 442 thousandths. I'm going to give you a problem. Actually, let's do another one together before I give you one, because this one was very difficult with 2 zeros that you have to regroup from. I'm going to give you this one here, 6.8 minus 1.45. 6.8 minus 1.45. Go ahead and write that one on your whiteboard. And see if you can line up those decimals. Again, if you prefer, you can rewrite it on lined paper. You turn your paper sideways, then you can make sure that all those numbers are in a column. The decimals can be on a line. 6.8 minus 1.45. I rewrote mine in a nice column here on the paper. I turned sideways. You can put a 0 above the 5. If there's nothing there, you need a number that you can work with. 0 is a number we can work with. This time we're just going to say, okay, 0 minus 5 cannot be done. You have nothing. You can't take away 5 from nothing. Go next door, up top, borrow, regroup from the 8, it becomes 7. You're taking 1 away from it, and you're regrouping it over to the place value to create 10. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 4 is 3. There's that decimal point. Don't forget the decimals. And 6 minus 1 is 5. So 5 and 35 hundredths. Final answer. Okay. I'm going to give you one that you're going to show me on your whiteboard. You're going to show me this one on your whiteboard. If I have 2 and 17 hundredths minus 8 tenths. Go ahead and do that one on your whiteboard. I'll give you about a minute to solve that one. All right, I can see a couple thumbs up. Thank you. I see Raj, she's holding a whiteboard. She's got it backwards, but she's ready. Okay, when you're ready to show me your answer, just show me the back side of your whiteboard or your paper. Don't show me the answer yet. Thank you, Christopher. I saw that. There you go. Now I see the back sides of your whiteboards. Thank you very much. That's great. Oh, Faith, we got you going. Yes. Oh, fantastic. Oh, thank you. I see lots of backs of the whiteboards. On the count of 3, you're going to flip it and show me. 1, 2, 3. Flip it. 1, 2, 3. Show me. Aha. Yes. Ooh, yes. Ooh, couple of yeses, couple of nos. All right. Here we go. I'm going to solve this one with you. I see a couple of mistakes. Let's see if we can correct those. Okay, if you line up your decimals, you have the 8 underneath the 1, you have 0 underneath the 7. You have to write that imaginary 0 in to make it line up so you have the same number of digits. 7 minus 0 is 7. You all got that one right, thankfully. Okay, and 1 minus 8 can't be done. I saw a lot of you borrowing from the 2 or regrouping from the 2. And then the 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 8, this is where I saw most of the mistakes. 11 minus 8 is indeed 3. 3. Don't forget that decimal point, and then you can bring down the 1. 1.37, if you got it right, give me the silent cheer, like so. If you got it right, give me the silent cheer. Yeah, this is sign language for applause. All right. Maybe we'll learn more sign language as we go along. But continuing on with adding and subtracting, I am going to give you an assignment on Khan Academy. Okay, you're going to practice adding and subtracting decimals on Khan Academy. And this is going to be where we minimize. You're probably going to have to minimize or split your screen for Zoom, and you're going to log on to Khan Academy. Okay, everyone should be in Khan Academy. Except for the 5th graders. I have, uh-oh. Oh, lovely. Oh, I signed in as a student. Okay. Slow, everything's working.
Brack, you have a list of the 5th graders, do you not?
I have your master list, and I have the students that are already signed in. So, I'm having technical difficulties for just a moment. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to say I need to talk to the people who are not signed in yet because I can't assign it until everyone's in. Oh, lovely. I should have thought about this last week. I'm gonna have to take 5 before I have you log into Khan Academy and see your assignments, but I need to talk to a couple of people